Angaro.
Right Chancellor, our university is moving forward. It's forward the road and backward the road. We have crossed the road of the 100 inaugural lecture. We are planning another a day, 101 today. And this is the first one after the first 100. And this lecture is to be delivered at the Akanbi. And the topic says, in the beginning was language, a structural and systematic the Yoruba example. So we're going to listen to the beginning of a language today. Yesterday, we all went to space. But today now, we are coming to Yoruba land. The inaugural lecturer to this August Assembly.
Please admit me to his department. Dr. Mayo could not admit me to English because I did not write literature in JAM that year, so I passed it in my West African School Certificate examination. In fact, that was the first time I heard that there is a discipline called linguistics. In short, that was how I found myself in linguistic studies. After some few months of learning, I came to love linguistics so much that I found it difficult to cross to English after the first year, as Professor Mayo had advised. This is how my journey to the world of academic and specifically linguistics began. I chose syntax as my area of specialization, and I have substantial publications in that chosen field. However, this inaugural lecture is not on syntax. The reason for this is based on what Banjo said, and I quote, "The distinction that I am trying to draw is parallel to that which is perhaps more clearly drawn between learning a language and studying a language. We learn language so that we may be able to speak it, but we study a language so that we can discover how it works, even though we may never be able to speak it." Apart from being a Yoruba speaker, I studied Yoruba language. Many of my researches are based on the Yoruba language study. This is why my lecture is on Yoruba language, especially its aesthetic expositions. Introduction. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I bless the name of the Almighty God for the honor and the privilege bestowed on me to deliver this inaugural lecture. I also thank God for faith has bestowed it on me to deliver the second inaugural lecture in the Department of Linguistics and Nigerian Languages, and 8 in the Faculty of Arts since its inception. I was to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor J.P. Ayodele, for granting me the honor of presenting this inaugural lecture. I also wish to thank the Faculty of Arts, especially the Dean, for seeing to it that this inaugural lecture is delivered. The title of this inaugural lecture, "In the beginning was language," is not to compete with the eternal existence of the Almighty God. Neither is it to make anything equal to Him, because we all know that God is the beginning of all things. It is just to showcase that language is as old as the creation. In the beginning, God spoke a language to man, and man must have responded by speaking a language in conversing with God. Which language God spoke to man, and with which language man responded, was not known, and is still not known, and it will never be known. In the beginning, as recorded in the Christian Bible, man had one speech and one language. Human beings conversed, discussed, and interacted with just one language. It was at the Tower of Babel that language became diversified as told in the Holy Bible. This marks the beginning of many languages in the world today. The origin of language. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, language is a mystery. It has been a puzzle for the linguists from the days of language study up till today. There has not been a breakthrough in research to know which language man first spoke or which one is the original language. On this premise, linguists from time immemorial have devised theories to know how language began. Among these theories are put forward by June 2006 and some others are Bow Wow theory, Ouch theory, and Ding Dong theory, to name just a few. Those who put forward Bow Wow theory argue that language originated through the imitation of the sounds that bring about concepts. This theory appeals to onomatopoeic words, where the sound corresponds to the concept. To the proponents of this theory, it is through the imitation of this sound that language naturally evolved. To the adherents of Ouch theory, they will find that language at first consisted of emotional ejaculations such as fear, pain, surprise, pleasure, love, anger, laughter, cries of alarm, and so on and so forth, and that this was what later metamorphosed into language. On the issue of the Ding Dong theory, it is believed by its proponents that language came about through the observation of signs of nature, by observing the blowing of winds, the devastation of hurricanes, the destruction of storms, the deafening sound of thunder. Through the imitation of these various sounds, language was formed. In all these theories, one thing that is certain is that there shall be no end to speculations on the origin of language until some empirical evidence can be adduced. But one thing we can say with some degree of certainty is that the origin of man is the origin of language, because everywhere man is found, language exists. The human language. Mr. Vice Chancellor, human language, as opposed to any other mode of form of communication, is peculiar and unique. Therefore, the possession of language, more than any other attribute, sets human beings apart from the other creatures with whom they share the earth. Pumpkin et al. 2003. And as argued in Pumpkin et al. And quoted in Inaugural 2005, whatever else people do, when they come together, they talk. We talk to our friends, we talk to our associates in office, we talk to our wives, and wives also talk to their husbands. We talk to our mothers and fathers, we talk to our in-laws, we talk to strangers and to our adversaries. We even talk to ourselves when there is nobody to talk to. And when we talk, people respond to us by talking. We talk when we pray. We talk when we play. We talk when we fight. We talk when we make love. We talk when we do people. In short, we live in a world of words. And human beings are the only animals that do this, that talk. For this reason, we all take a language for granted. The attributes of human language also make it peculiar and special. Parts of its attributes listed in Inaugural and Akanbi 2005-2008 and many other books of linguistics include, but not limited to, the following: arbitrariness, that is, the words used in language are employed as arbitrary symbols. This is to say that there is no intrinsic connection or link between the signal and the signified. Language also is conventional. This means that there is a tacit agreement as to names given to concepts that make people of the same language understand what that concept stands for. That language is organized in two layers, the layer of sound and the layer of meaning, show the quality attribute of language. In the same way, language is patterned. There is an internal organization within the system. This also goes to say that language does not mean that there is no latent potentiality of an innate predisposition towards language in a newborn child. This latent potentiality can only be activated or triggered by the exposure to language, which requires learning. The latent potentiality, known as the language acquisition device (LAD), is domiciled in the minds of all Homo sapiens. And no matter how long a baboon A monkey or a dog lives among human beings. It cannot speak language because to animals, language is not learnable and it is not intrinsic in them. This characteristic of learnability leads to creativity and productivity of language. This feature of language, that is, creativity and productivity, form the thesis of this inaugural lecture. The creative nature of human language. Creativity is a feature that seems to be of overwhelming importance in human language. Creativity is the ability to produce and understand an infinite number of novel or new words or utterances or sentences. This property of language has been named severally and differently. Chomsky 1986 calls it creativity, while some scholars name it openness or productivity. It is this attribute which enables a speaker to understand and construct sentences which he has never heard before. Human beings can produce new sentences that have never been said before in the most unlikely circumstances and still be understood. Creativity is an important characteristic of all stages in language development. A child in the early stages of development, even when his sentences consist of only 2 words, can use the language creatively in this sense. Some animal communication systems, such as the dancing of bees, seem to have this feature, but in a more restricted way and manner. Bees apparently understand the meaning of a particular dance, though they may not have seen it before. Compared with human language, however, this is a very restricted creativity. The Yoruba language usage. It is of note that the Yoruba language has a robust and very rich repertoire. Every concept has an original Yoruba name. Time in Yoruba, for instance, as shown in the work of Ogundeji 2014, is segmented and each segment has a name given to it. Ogundeji says that time in Yoruba is usually rendered as Igba, Akoko, or Asiko. These lexical items, like many others, structurally look like nouns, derived from the concatenation of nominalizers I and A, with verbal components Ba, Koko, and Shiko, respectively. Ogundeji also opines that the sun plays a significant role in the way Yoruba give name to the periods of the day. He itemized 8 segments which are presented below. According to Ogundeji 2014, premium value is placed on the hour, which is considered the foundation of the day and is subdivided into 5 segments. Orimni Kumani, very early in the morning, Afemojuma, Òwúrọ̀, Àárọ̀, Kùtùkùtù, daybreak, Ìdákọ̀mú, breakfast, and Ìyálẹ̀ta, late morning. What is particular to us here is the beauty exhibited in this Yoruba naming of the concept of time in the Yoruba language. In the same vein, Bangose 2005 opines that when one is confronted with different types of pain, the Yoruba language, unlike the English language, has a wide range of verbs for describing pain. For example, the composite state of pain covers a wide range of sensations which may be more accurately described as follows. Ó ń dùn mí, ó ń ro mí, ó ń ta mí, ó ń wì mí, ó ń jó mi, ó ń gé mi jẹ, ó ń já mi jẹ, ó ń sán mi, ó ń kan mí, ó ń wó mi lára, ó ń gbé mi wì. Bangose goes further to say that to express these states of pain in English, there is need to use periphrases in which the word for pain is appropriately modified with other descriptive words. Some other languages may not be able to devise words for these various types, which is easily done in Yoruba language. The aesthetic form of Yoruba language. As I checked the semantic implication of the word aesthetics, I discovered that it relates to beauty, that is, something beautiful, responsive to or appreciative of what is pleasurable to the senses. The word beauty or beautiful forms part of the qualities of human beings, that is, it is normally used in relation to Homo sapiens. If this kind of word can be used in relation to language, it means then that language is a living entity, and that is the reason language can die. Vista 2000 puts this in a lucid form by saying that language dies when no one speaks it anymore. Every area of Yoruba language is beautiful. Those who know how to use the language bring out its beauty. This is the concept of Ewaide. Therefore, whichever area I explore in this inaugural lecture is like scratching the bark of a big tree. It is a tip of the iceberg, and it is not exhaustive. Many of the aesthetics areas to be put to the fore in this lecture is common to all languages, but there is a way they exhibit the beauty that applies to each language. Yoruba proverb. Proverb is one of the areas where the beauty of Yoruba language manifests. Proverb, according to the saying of the elders, is the wisdom of the people. It is a known fact that there is no tribe or clan that does not have the repertoire of proverbs. Yoruba see proverbs as the vehicle that drives the thought. Proverbs also portray the philosophy of the Yoruba people. Proverbs in Yoruba also exhibits the belief and the philosophy of the people. Yoruba take pride in saying proverbs, and they say it a lot. Many scholars have written about proverbs. It is a vast area that cannot be exhausted. Proverb is a spicy that brings sweetness into speech or utterance. Hardly can a Yoruba person speak for a few minutes and will not spice his speech with one or the other proverb. Writing on Proverbs, Olumuyiwa 2012 opines that proverbs are the product of human observation about what happens in their environment. Proverbs will be deductive, speculative, affirmative, empirical, mythical, and superstitious. Proverbs at times can be straightforward and at times can be difficult to comprehend. In my research on Yoruba proverbs Akanbi 2025, I observed that there are proverbs that can only be decoded pragmatically. Such proverbs are termed pragmatically naughty proverbs. Some of such proverbs are listed below. Ṣòkòtò àránlẹ̀ ń wò lórúnkún, ojú alájàpá nǹkan kísà lẹ́yìn odi, ìwínìwí onílé, ìfọ̀nìfọ̀ àlejò, wọ́n ní bá ní ajẹ́ tán, àlejò àníkà jẹ́ kù, and so on and so forth. Besides the pragmatic naughty proverbs, some of which are listed above, there are proverbs that come in pairs and each looks contradictory to the other. In my work, Akanbi 2020, I argued this contradicts it. Ọ̀rọ̀ hàn ní hàn nìyẹn, èèyàn la fi hàn. Bánu sọ, má bẹ̀rẹ̀ èèyàn sọ, ènìyàn fẹ́ ní fọ́rọ̀, àforí ẹni. And this contradicts it. Ìsèwò, ìkòròwò, ohun abájìjọ wò, ìkòlẹ́gun. Issues like this are what makes Abiodun affirm that proverbs are the collection of statements or sentences that show the experience, beliefs, thoughts, stories, acts, and contents of those things that relate to the society and the surroundings. Proverbs are the sayings that show the depth of societal wisdom, their interaction and focus. It is therefore important to note that proverbs serve as a linguistic confirmation of the totality of a people's worldview and the epistemic cognition of the worldview. Fashiku 2016, Yoruba incantation. In Akanbi 2016 and Akanbi 2024, the beauty of Yoruba language as manifested in Yoruba incantation is exhibited. The two words centered on the use of language in incantation in neutralizing spells or inventing solutions to some seemingly intractable ailments. For instance, Akanbi and Akanbi 2024b affirm that in most cases, the word used has the corresponding link to the type of effect that the enchanter wants that is done. In the following incantation, there is a correspondence between the words and the elements being invoked to make a particular effect. Olóye là pè yèrè, olóye là pè yèrè, elétò là pàtó rì, alámọ̀létí là pè rán. Some names, that's Olatunji 1984. Some names are expressed in the above data, and the names correspond to the concept. The names are symbolic. For some, they stand for the name of some plants believed to have the power of reminding a child of what he might not know or have forgotten. Olatunji 1984 asserts that the object named in the incantation are endowed with the power of aiding memory, just as each incantatory agent is given names through to which they are expected to act. Yoruba believe that when one knows the name of a particular thing, one has the ability to control the being so as to dance to one's bidding. For instance, the names Iyere, Atori, and Eran correspond to Oye, knowledge, Eto, orderliness, and Iranti, reminder, respectively. Apart from the fact that the enchanter expects the offer to perform and accomplish certain effects, the aesthetic effect made by the incantation gives Yoruba a beauty to hear and to behold. The incantation below, which is also a kind of rekindling the knowledge of someone, also has a particular language corresponding in name. The names of the elements within the incantation correspond to the effect the enchanter wants to make. In other words, it is rare for one to want to cook a soup and forget the salt, and so on and so forth. A kì í ṣe ọbẹ̀ kágbàgbé iyọ̀, a kì í mú súnlóko kágbàgbé àdìrò. Gbogbo ohun tí mo bá ń ṣe, gbogbo rẹ̀ ni kí n máa rántí. Olúbámisọ́, Olúbámisọ́, òrìṣà kì í kọlà, kó gbàgbé àtẹ́lẹwọ́. Olúbámisọ́, òjò kì í kù, kó gbàgbé àpáàlà. Gbogbo ohun tí mo bá kọ, gbogbo rẹ̀ ni mo máa gbénú mi. In dealing with difficult problems, the language used is always different from a subtle language, as seen in the two incantations below. As began at the 2024B, in their research, I found that when using of Ogeda and Ayajo as a healing therapy, 3 methods or strategies are normally employed. Each of these strategies manifests from the attitude, conduct, and speech of the enchanter. The strategies are appealing, appeasing, and confronting. The divinity believed to be behind the misfortune of the afflicted may be appealed to in the incantation, or it may also be appealed in order to show mercy to the victim. The supernatural being believed to be behind the problem may also be coerced to dance to the bidding of the enchanter through confrontation. Apart from using of Ogeda and Ayajo for healing, these incantatory charms can also be used to protect and ward off evil from happening. Some examples that go along these 3 strategies are given below. Let me just read it. Akide amukamatu, akide ibekamatu, akide apẹ̀rẹ̀ gbé òjò kó má jò, akide gbá kamatu. Bí ó bá ṣe pé wọ́n de omi yìí ní efirin àjìjà máa ja wálẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Efirin àjìjà àdé ló ń fadé pẹ̀lú orúkọ ìwọ orí, ẹ̀pàpà lórúkọ àpò ìwọ olóbi ọmọ. Ilẹ̀ ń pè ní lẹ́jọ́ o, ẹ máa bọ̀ báyìí. This incantation, as the speech shows, is a kind of appeal. The one that binds the pregnancy is being appealed to release the woman, deliver the child and the placenta. The last incantation, as shown below, is a form of confrontation. It is a way of casting out spell on the being that is giving problem to the enchanter. I will read this too. Oṣó ilé ló bá torí mi níbi ògiri àlàpà, kó máa wú wọn lulẹ̀ ògiri àlàpà. Àjẹ́ ilé ló bá torí mi níbi ògiri àlàpà, kó máa wú wọn lulẹ̀ ògiri àlàpà. Bó sọmọdé ló bá torí mi níbi ògiri àlàpà, kó máa wú wọn lulẹ̀ ògiri àlàpà. Bó ṣàgbá ilé ló bá torí mi níbi ògiri àlàpà, kó máa wú wọn lulẹ̀ ògiri àlàpà. Substitution. Àtìdípò in Yoruba. Substitution is another area of language use that brings aesthetics into Yoruba language. This phenomenon occurs in various ways. Substitution is done when a part of a thing is used for the whole. It can also be the whole used to represent a part. In some other instances, a piece of material can be used for the whole material. This use of language gives aesthetic value to it. Substitution as a language use is similar to the use of euphemism. However, there is a difference between these two aspects of language use. While euphemism is used in relation to taboo, substitution is used as a way of managing language. In some other instances, the material used for a particular role may replace what is being used for. For example, for somebody to say, na mi gbà kan ṣèkàn kún mi o tún ṣèkàn kúnra rẹ kájọ máa mú lọ, is a way of using what is being used to drink palm wine to replace palm wine that people drink. Again, the container may replace what is contained. That is why somebody can say olúmùgò mẹ́fà. What is being referred to in this context is the content of the bottle, not the bottle itself. In this example, in some other examples, a piece of bottle, a piece of the material can be replaced for the whole bottle. Example, ọ̀pálámbá ọtí èkó fọ́ onígbá ń sọ òbí sọ. In the example, a piece of broken bottle ọ̀pálámbá is substituted for the whole bottle. For instance, in some other instances, a tribal mark like Pele, which is put on man, can be used to address the man. Somebody calling the individual can call him Bọ̀dá Pele, where Pele replaces the name of the individual and the individual himself. Idioms. In some cases, Yoruba has a way of saying things to confuse the neophyte, and this is by the use of idioms. An individual who is not a Yoruba, even if he is living among the speakers of Yoruba, may not understand their conversation. In some cases, Yoruba people like to use idioms to express the beauty of language. Some scholars have described idioms as terms referring to words whose meanings cannot be predicted from the individual elements in them. Babalola, 1972, Bangoshe, 1975, Olateju, 2005. The following listed words are some of the idioms found in the Yoruba language. Fọgbàányaga, sọjú abẹnìkù, fojú olórígúngi, jẹran sókun sí, gbarata, péèdì kókò, and so on and so forth. Children lullabies, rhymes, primer songs, and recitations. In my work, jointly carried out by Akanbi and Akanbi 2024, we will find that children's lullabies, rhymes, primer songs, and recitations are a kind of genre designed for the kids, while lullaby is for toddlers and little children. Rhymes, primer songs, and recitations are for the children of old age, of school age. These kinds of activities, of which content are mostly panegyric, oriki, eulogy, songs, and recitations are pastime activities tailored towards educational purposes, relaxation, and ease of stress. Children lullabies are peculiar interactions from the mother to the child. They are mostly songs which mothers sing for their little children in order to pacify them, to lull them to sleep, or make them happy. These are songs that are sung for the children when it appears that they feel uncomfortable. Singing lullabies has long been a part of many mothers' coping and surviving tools, particularly used when soothing a distressed child. One such lullaby song is given below. Ọmọ mi o, kúrúbété kúbé, ọmọ mi o, kúrúbété kúbé. Bó bá kú, màá raṣọ fún ọ. Bó bá kú, màá rẹ̀gbà ọrùn, and so on and so forth. When lullaby relates to soothing songs for the children, while lullaby relates to soothing songs for the little children, rhymes and primer songs are for the grown-up, especially nursery to primary school children. In the work already referred to at Akanbi 2024A, various songs relating to children, rhymes, and songs are stated. The important notion in these songs and recitations are the exhibition of the beauty of Yoruba language as portrayed in the various songs and recitations. Apart from the aesthetic value in these songs and recitations, they are also tailored towards giving the pupil certain benefits that make them responsible adults. Some of the songs are for the kinetics or physical fitness of the pupil. The various songs and recitations below not only show the beauty of the Yoruba language, they are also used to enhance the knowledge of the pupils. They are for educational purposes. While the first two recitations teach the children the art of counting and to impart their knowledge with numerals 1 to 10 in the language, the third song is for the children relaxation. It also teaches both the culture and the traditional beliefs of the Yoruba people. The first one now. Ẹni bí ẹni, èjì bí èjì, ẹ̀ta ntagba, ẹni wọ̀rọ̀kọ́, àrùn nkodo, ẹ̀fà tí èlè, irun bírun, irun bàtà, mojá lápẹ̀sán, gbangbalẹ̀ wá. And the second one, another one, ẹni bí ẹni, lọ́mọdé ń kawó, èjì bí èjì, làgbà ń tayò, ẹ̀ta bí ẹ̀ta, ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká tara wa lọ́rẹ, and so on and so forth. Conclusion. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, it is not exaggeration to say that Yoruba language is facing existential threat. This assertion is based on the recently promulgated of reversal of the national language policy by the government through the Ministry of Education, claiming that mother tongue as a medium of instruction has destroyed education in Nigeria. This claim by the government is very pathetic. Yoruba language is facing two battlefronts in a struggle to exist. One, the internal battle, and two, the external battle. The internal battle consists of the home domain, where parents have labeled speaking Yoruba by their children as anathema. To some parents, their children must speak English not only in school, but even at home. Any children who mistakenly speak Yoruba will be reprimanded. Another battle connected to the home front is the educational sector, especially primary schools. This is where pupils are not allowed to speak the so-called vernacular, and pupils found speaking the local language is either punished, fined, or stigmatized. The second battlefront is the one engaged by the government. Government is not doing enough for the local languages. Much as the academicians are trying to raise the value of mother tongue in Nigeria, the more the government is pulling it down. This reminds us of Professor Babatunde Fafunwa's research on the use of mother tongue as a medium of instruction in primary school level. At the end of the research, it was observed that those who are taught with mother tongue as medium of instruction were more educationally competent than those taught in English language. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, except we want to deceive ourselves, Yoruba can be said to be seriously endangered if no positive step is taken either by the government, private organizations, or individuals towards resuscitating the language. In the not so distant future, Yoruba language will go into extinction. Yoruba appears to have become a language that nobody really wants to speak again. In many churches today, where you have almost 99% Yoruba audience, you will see here the pastor blowing his sermon in the English language and putting somebody by his side to interpret Yoruba for the congregation. Young people today cannot say any proverbs in Yoruba, neither do they know Yoruba counting system, Ikoto and Akanbi 2011. As I said in the beginning of this lecture, a language that no one speaks will surely die. I hope this will not happen to Yoruba, our beautiful language. Recommendations. Based on this premise, the following recommendations, which are very germane to the existence of the Yoruba language in appreciating its aesthetics, are put forward for action. 1. Yoruba scholars will intensify work on the revision of old grammar, literature, and cultural books with the view of bringing to the fore the structural aesthetics of the language. 2. Yoruba literature texts are full of poems that have that have such rhyming schemes that appeal to the listening ear. Such should be reprinted for children of these days to know how to recite poems in order to appreciate their beauty. 3. Government as a matter of importance should reverse the Council's national language policy. 4. Government at all levels, national, state, and local government should do more in integrating the teaching of Yoruba from the primary to the tertiary institution. 5. Every school in the south, west, both primary and secondary school, should make the teaching of Yoruba compulsory. The question of private schools not mounting the teaching of Yoruba in their school curriculum should be discouraged. Acknowledgement. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, acknowledging people in an inaugural lecture like this is always a Herculean task. Thinking of many people one should acknowledge by name looks witty. However, since many individuals have contributed to my progress and development in life, I would have loved to mention all the names one after the other, but time does not act friendly. First and foremost, my gratitude is to the Almighty God, through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who has lifted me up from the valley to the mountain top. He showed me unquantifiable and unqualifiable mercy when I had a fatal auto crash on the 5th of September 2019. He rescued my life from untimely death, though my SUV car was written off. To him I give all praises and adoration. First, I want to thank our amiable, kind, and compassionate Vice Chancellor, Professor Joseph Babatola Ayodele, who God used to save the life of my wife. I was to travel out to stay with her in the hospital, and because of the urgency of the matter, I went straight to the Vice Chancellor to allow me to utilize my accumulated leave for the purpose. He approved my request on the spot, and I got the letter of release within 3 days. To you, sir, I show my appreciation. May God, my God, will continue to magnify you in every higher position that God is going to take you to. I remain grateful. I remain grateful to the immediate past Vice Chancellor, Professor Edward Olanipekun, for finding me qualified to be announced a Professor of Linguistics in October 2020. Thank you very much, sir. The Lord reward you greatly. I also show my appreciation to the present Deputy Vice Chancellors for their work of love. I specifically want to appreciate the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Akademi, Professor Wole Adebayo, for his love of the Yoruba language. His contribution to this inaugural lecture, though through proofreading it, cannot be quantified. Thank you, sir. Continue to show love to this beautiful and widespread language, Yoruba. I want to specially thank Professor Eme Abiodun, whose vehicle of help I wrote to this university. He was on the team of the panel who interviewed me to become a lecturer. He supervised my PhD thesis and made sure that I finished the program on a record time. To all my colleagues in the Department of Linguistics and Nigerian Languages, I appreciate you. I cannot but be grateful to my Faculty of Arts colleagues who have made my great part of the faculty very memorable. They are the ones whose social interaction cannot be washed off my memory for a very long time. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to give honor to whom honor is due. Professor Muyebandele, even though he wanted to be here, the former Vice Chancellor of former Tunedi, former UST and EKSU, and now the Vice Chancellor of Franco University, Lagos, and his wife. They were the people who saw to my growth, both academically and spiritually. So I thank them very much. To my Deeper Life Bible Church family, in Linguistics especially, our old Okoko group of districts, I'm extending my appreciation and thanks to you. Thank you for taking me as your spiritual father when we were together. In the same way, I thank my beloved brethren from Deeper Life Bible Church, Ede region, starting from the region of Asia, Pastor Roland Oludare and his beloved wife. I also thank other pastor colleagues from the region. Thank you. I will be an ingrate if I do not mention my siblings, of whom I owe a debt of gratitude. My senior brother, Elder Jacob Akanbi, and his wife, Witness Grace Akanbi, are an invaluable relation. I stayed with my brother in his one-room apartment in the late 70s when I was admitted to the civil service training school in Ibadan. He proved himself as a kind, compassionate, and caring brother. For him and his wife, I say a big thank you. Pastor Moses Akanbi cannot be mentioned. He was the one who raised money for me to produce my MATC. I will not forget you for this very act of generosity. How will I forget my very wonderful sibling, Caleb Akanbi, and his wife, late Yemi Akanbi? He was the one who always accommodated me in his house when I was on my program in Ibadan. My children, thank you very much for your care. The Lord will repay you to my other siblings, Demola, Titilola, Deolu, and Ezekiah, and their wife. I thank you for our being together all this while. The Lord will continue to bless you. My children have been wonderfully great. They have been very supportive in my academic journey. You have borne the incessant absence of your father from home with understanding. You have neither put me in trouble, nor you have never put me in trouble. You have always been children that one can be proud of. Femi, Dayo, Dire, and Bukumi, you will grow and become very successful in life more than we, your parents. May the Almighty God keep you and lead you to greater heights. To my grandchildren, Toke, Zion, Zenith, Mayode, Denison, David, and Mubare, you will grow and do well in life. I must acknowledge my sincere love of my beautiful, lovely, and beloved wife, Yisi Adia, Florence Olukodele Adegoye. You are good by me through thick and thin. I simply could not have done this without you. You already know that, but I want everyone else to know as well. You are an amazing, virtuous woman, a caring and compassionate companion. I will continue to love you and will forever love you. That is your son. Apart from God, this is the pillar of my family. He needs no introduction. Thank you all for listening. God bless you.
To take off the one hand, then walk on 45 feet. On the show, really. I don't know whether that is a pragmatically naughty program or a contradictory program. So get a copy, you know whether show kilo is Professor Akanbi, thank you for being time conscious and for being a distinguished professor of linguistics.
When the draft was brought, and I saw a lot of Yoruba there, I said, Professor Adeyemi, go and try it, and that's what did it. And the paper was coming and going. I said, until everything is all right. And I'm happy we don't support all those supporters. Members of the people like Linguistics, who are here with us, and all our pastors, thank you for your prayers, for the university and this is the 16th inaugural lecture of the presiding one, the last one has us. A lot of things are elected. When I read through, I think maybe I should go back to study linguistics. Or maybe it's too late. I don't know whether there's a diploma in linguistics. I don't know. A lot of things, and it was presented logically in simple language that can be understood by everybody. And very logical. For various studies, language is very important. The living and the basic nature of the language, many of the idioms. There is a particular aspect that maybe because of time we not touch. If you want to look at that aspect, go and get a copy. Plants and affirmation, you see the origin of the skeleton there. The origin of the Tapapa, Pota, and Tapapa. You see why is the origin of things there. That's not the Yoruba. People they talk about language engineering. It's a very aspect that actually to affirm the fact that there is dynamism in language. And we can't continue to speak the kind of language. We have to move with time because of the development of language. The language that was spoken will likely die. We are finding in the conclusion and recommendation that there are a lot of threats to Yoruba language. Modernization, technology, even government policy. All these are key and that's why this university now we are planning a program to have an online teaching of Yoruba. Our students are those in US and Canada, they can't speak Yoruba. And somebody with linguistics has been told we must work on this. Those of our children in Canada and US, so that we teach them, we make money and we teach them how to speak Yoruba. If I ask for all of us are now to speak 5 sentences in Yoruba correctly, I will know how to do We must be able to preserve our language, it's our origin. Go for Adeyemi sages, even our churches. A purely Yoruba people, more people will be speaking English to them, all the Catholics. They are not communicating. Speak Yoruba. translated in Yoruba language. Government, individuals, agencies, there are various religious organizations. Let us ensure that we do this. We shall continue as a university to encourage scholarly research, scholarly communication, and scholarly presentation. And yesterday, I told some of us who are here to present their nuclear lectures. Wake up. We got to open society. The university will bring this. We will advertise in visitors. We will do everything for you. What you need to get is a seat. You don't need a new one. Practice the one you have. You don't need to take that. You don't have to worry. You don't take away. You don't water. And something happened this afternoon when we are testing. I look at this and I look at my dress. And it says, almost the same food, the same food. And anyway, our mind is the same. Thank you, sir. And no one says telepathy now. You can see how we flow together. Mommy, I took her thank you.
Thank you. Ojú kan bá ti ní pé a fẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà ní ìkàlẹ̀ tí wọ́n lọ́la sí ayẹyẹ ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ti ọjọ́ òní. Àwọn ìjà kọ̀ọ̀kọ́ lórí ìgbàgbọ́ tí wọ́n wá sí àkókò orí ìmọ̀ àwọn ìyàwó wa ní Olúwa láti lé ìjọ Deeper Church. Pásítọ̀ Ọlákùnrin Ọlákùnrin olùdámọ̀ràn Olùmákindé abẹ olùdámọ̀ràn tó mọ̀ Adédoyin olùdámọ̀ràn Ọláìdé Ọlárìndé olùdámọ̀ràn Ògúntádé Ayọ̀túndé olùṣọ́-àgùntàn Akínọlá Adérìní àti olùṣọ́-àgùntàn Adétúnjí Adéṣínà. Bákan náà a ní àárín wa ìkan lára àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ilé-iṣẹ́ yìí Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Èkì Bọ́dúnrìn. Wọ́n ní Yorùbá ní o, àbí ẹ̀yẹ ní pé òkè ní ọ̀gbẹ́ni, àbí ti lọ́gbẹ́ni sáṣà. Bóyá àgbà sàtífíkẹ́tì ìdájọ́ Nàìjíríà ìgbélé rí. Bákan náà ní lára àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ ọmọ ìgbìmọ̀ tí ṣàkóso ilé-ìwé wa. Arábìnrin ọ̀mọ̀wé OEE Awòṣòge máa ń pè ní ìyá oge Awòṣòge.
He was asking me that, is it live? I said yes.
Bákan náà ní ọ̀sán ìyá ní
Representing the EKSU.
ẹ̀gbọ́n ìyàwó wọn Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ayọ̀délé Ògúnníyì ẹ̀ka àbúrò mi wá ó pe àbúrò ìyàwó wọn. Àbúrò
Yeah, on live on YouTube.
olùdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tòní tí wọ́n tún jẹ́ ìránṣẹ́
Wealth.
Ọlọ́run olùdókòwò kílẹ̀ Oyèwọlé Àkànbí. Àìgbé ìdílé jẹ́ ìdílé ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run. Àbúrò wọn mìíràn tó tún jẹ́ ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run olùdókòwò Amos Olúṣọlá Àkànbí. Then a ní arábìnrin Fúnmilọ́lá Àkànbí bákan náà tó wà ní àárín wa a kí ní oríire òní o. Arábìnrin Fúnmilọ́lá Àkànbí jẹ́ ìyàwó ẹ̀gbọ́n wọn. Orúkọ ẹ̀gbọ́n wọn nínú ni olùṣọ́ àgùntàn Jacob Akínyẹlé Àkànbí. Àwọn tí wọ́n farada ìgbà tí wọ́n wà ní
Pásítọ̀ epo gidi.
Ẹ sà. Ó serious.
Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Olúwa fún mi ọ̀rẹ́ Olúwa
Wọ́n fi kíní yẹn pamọ́ ní tẹ́lẹ̀.
Tèlédèrè Felix Àkànbí, Tèlédayọ̀ Francis Àkànbí, and Olúwafẹ́mi Samson Àkànbí.
Yálà ya gbogbo wọn.
Thanks for standing by me. Nígbà tí mo wo ìwé yẹn mo rò wípé àwọn olùdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wa wá fi Yorùbá sọ wípé ìyàwó wọn. Mo rí pé òyìnbó ni wọ́n sọ. Àyè ò gẹ́gẹ́ bí àṣà kò sí àyè. Ká ní kì í ṣe pé àṣà ni bá ní pé wípé téèyàn bá fẹ́ pa ìyàwó ẹ̀ á ní olókòwò mi ẹlẹ́yinjú ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó gbogbo yẹn la rò wípé ẹ máa sọ ṣùgbọ́n adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé àwọn màmá wa òpómúléró ilé Àkànbí ìyá Láàfin Pòfẹ́sọ̀ Àkànbí àwọn ní Mrs. Florence Olúkọ́ládé Àkànbí ẹ ṣeun fún àtìlẹ́yìn ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì rẹ̀ nísìnyí mo rò pé mo ti gba nàájísì mo ní sí 100%. Thank you, sir. So I speak like a people. We have some of the university directors there who are said Mrs. RTD Adeodo Director, Directorate of Student Affairs, you are welcome. Mr. Bill Awe Director, Directorate of Personnel, thank you for being here. We also have some persons also from the side of the inaugural lecturer, Pastor Dr. Peter Olubide Adeyemi, who is here to be represented by his wife, Mrs. Olusho Adeyemi, from Petra Group of Schools. You are welcome, ma'am. All group coordinators and district pastors, Deeper Life Church,
Deputy
and
Director.
DGT. You are sincerely appreciated for celebrating your own. All group coordinators and district pastors, Deeper Life Bible Church, Ederidion. You are welcome. And Pastor Kayode Okuntuyi, who is today represented by his wife, Mrs. Joan Okuntuyi. That is the Osun State Overseer at the Deeper Life Bible Church, Osogbo, Ekagoma. Thank you so much. We appreciate your working. Also this afternoon, the university officials, at this occasion, we have the principal assistant registrar in Linguistics and academic matters, Dr. Adeyemi Adedapo, the Directorate of Academic Affairs, Dr. Ayo Olatunde, the Dean Faculty of Agricultural Sciences, Ọ̀gá àgbẹ̀, Professor A. Salami, they actually Faculty of Basic International Sciences, Dr. A.E. Omonisi. and the Okunlawo Adeyemi, that is the date of the inaugural lecturer today. The only thing I can ask, the Dean Faculty of Arts, Professor N.Y. Ojo. The Dean Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor O.A. Oseni. Dean Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Professor O.O. Odu. Dean Faculty of Education, Professor T.K. Akinwamide. And Dean Faculty of Engineering, Engineer Professor I.D. Oluwafemi. The Dean Faculty of Law, Professor K. Adekunle, is this afternoon represented by Dr. O.O. Ogunkorode. The Dean Faculty of Management Sciences, Professor C.O. Olaoye. You are welcome, sir. We have here the Dean of the Faculty of Multidisciplinary Study, the Chairman, the Security Committee, and also Chair Committee of Deans, Professor I.E. Ajayi. You are recognized. The Faculty of Life Sciences, Professor J.E. Osho, is this afternoon represented by Professor Mrs. M.D. Adeyemi. The Dean Faculty of Physical Sciences, also the Chair Ceremonies Committee, Professor O.A. Adeyemi. You are welcome. Yesterday we have the inaugural lecturer here who represented himself as the Dean Faculty of the Social Sciences for today is somewhere else. Professor A.D. Olatunde, who has now descended from the speech. So, able to say your body, around the so you are welcome, sir. The Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Omotosho, you are recognized. The Provost College of Postgraduate Studies, Professor Vicky Oyewole, you are welcome. Provost College of Medicine, Professor A.O. Ajayi, you are also recognized. The University Librarian, Dr. M.A. Aboyade, you are recognized. The Keeper of our Money, Mrs. J.O. Jobani, Contributor of the University, I think your phone is not working today. Ejekudoro, you are welcome. The Deputy Vice Chancellor Development, Professor F.O. Oke, you are recognized. And the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, mi ò ní sọ̀rọ̀. Professor W. Adebayo, you are recognized. And the Vice Chancellor, àwọn ni kábíyèsí ẹ̀wọ̀n ẹgbẹ́ ẹ̀sùn gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe kọ́ wa ìlú ní lọ́tọ̀ tiẹ̀ láyé tiẹ̀ pé olùsàkóso wọ́n jẹ́ kábíyèsí ẹ̀sùn kingdom. Àwọn ni ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Jósẹ́fù Babátọ́lá Ayọ̀délé ẹ̀jẹ̀. Orúkọ tèmi ní Ìfẹ́ Olúwọlé, akọ̀wé àgbà ti ilé ìwé gíga yìí. Now, professors are preparing the Vice Chancellor at the reception at Omolayo. Vice Chancellor, sir, we will bring this inaugural lecture to a close after the repetition of the first stanza of the national anthem. Thereafter, the Vice Chancellor procession will be in the order.
right, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we draw it to a close. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. We appreciate you.